Yo,
Yo, yo, yo.
what up?
What's up? It is time again.
It is time. We just did a little early one today.
Yep,
I like it.
early. I'll send that link out. Also, to all the fans out there, I might sound a little under the weather. That's because I was doing my job at the IU game this weekend.
That's right. That's just Vegas right there.
Yeah.
Vegas, man. I just got mine probably fully back. I would say today was the first day that I was able to talk and didn't feel like my throat was like vibrating funny or anything
Yeah.
like that.
I feel you. Yeah. Right now, it's the first day that I can talk and words come out like if I'm not whispering.
Yeah.
My stuff, it was gone.
That's what so whenever I laugh sometimes I'll get a little chuckle kind of in my throat, but
Yeah.
it's my voice gone. I'm not sick. So
That's what I've had to say a few times.
yeah.
Um, like leaving
Luckily
the
you
airport
work
and
from
whatnot.
home, dude. I went into
Yeah.
work yesterday and started talking to some people and they're like, "You all right?" I was like, I'm fine.
Yeah. I got worried though about,
IU game this weekend.
yeah. I mean, it's going to happen again next week too. But yeah, I got worried just because someone at work, they said that they were going to go to Vegas and they didn't. And they just found out they have COVID. I'm like, and now I'm like, man, how many people did I walk around that had COVID? Didn't even
Oh, I'm
say
sure.
didn't care.
I'm
Man,
sure.
I just wish people would be smarter about that stuff. Stay home if
Yeah.
you're sick.
Yeah. That's just
Don't be a dummy.
well, and I'm sure there's a ton of people that had it and didn't even know it,
Yeah.
Just and how many people got a sore throat and it was COVID, but they're just like, I'm in Vegas. Why the hell not?
Yeah,
It's gonna
exactly. Yep, that will happen.
happen. Okay, so $200 up for grabs. Regular season has not been sealed quite yet. There's a few things that are out there that can happen. We'll get into them a little bit. Drake, Damon, and Robert all have a shot at the $200 for the regular season winner. So,
Wow,
something to look at there.
that's
It
pretty
pretty much breaks down to if I beat Drake, it opens it up for that has to happen. If Drake wins, he
Yeah.
wins. But if Drake loses and Robert wins, Robert would very likely grab that regular season winner with the points total that he's got. And if
Yep.
even
Unless
if
Drake,
well, I
yeah,
was
go ahead.
trying to get there. Even if Robert wins and Damon wins, Roberts has Damon outscored by quite a bit, I think.
Yep, like 50 points.
Yeah, let's pull this up. So Robert would likely get it, but it would come down to a 3-team tie basically and come down to points. Likely go to Robert, but say Robert loses and Drake loses, very good chance Damon wins the regular season based off of a tie with Drake and a higher point total.
Yep. So a lot of things at stake. That's cool. Also, Robert and Damon, you're welcome for beating Drake last week. Spoiler alert.
Yep. They needed that to happen big time.
Yep. I did my job.
Bob got another win, and that sealed the plate up to my car for next year. The Broncos lost a close. It wasn't really a close game at all. They went down 27-0, and I became uninterested, and then they just kind of slowly crept back up. Ended up losing though, probably the best that their offense has looked for those quarters.
Yeah, and what's crazy is I had Russell Wilson starting at quarterback, and I switched him last second.
Really?
Yep, for Jones, and it was just one of those I just didn't want to start Russell Wilson and then get made fun of for it. He finally played well, so that was good to see. Hopefully, he still got some life in him next year.
Yeah, I think that they should probably bench him for the remainder of the year. After that concussion was pretty nasty that he got, and I just don't know what good comes out of putting him back out on the field right now.
Right?
You could have something happen like a Kyler Murray where he goes out there and tears his ACL, and then you're totally screwed for next year. So And the head injury, the head injury looked pretty serious, so it doesn't look like anything to mess with either.
Right.
Colts had a bye week this week, but they do get to play a game on Saturday.
So Jeff Saturday is coaching on a Saturday. I think we'll have a caller that's pretty interested in that.
We might.
I mean, he has to win, right?
I think so.
Can Jeff Saturday win on a Saturday?
He should.
If Jeff Saturday can lose on a Saturday, then I think it's a for sure one and done for him.
Yeah, for no doubt. And do want to mention that they get to play the Vikings, which that little, I guess I'll call it a meme that you shared with us earlier today. That's a wild stat.
Yeah, that was nuts.
I think there 5 teams that were listed that have won 10 plus games.
Yep.
They're the only one with a negative point differential, and it was -1.
Yeah. So I'll run through those. The point differential among teams with 10 plus wins. The Chiefs are at +86, Cowboys at +131, the Bills at +132, and the Eagles at +138. So it's how much they've outscored their opponents.
Yeah.
Then you have the Vikings who have 10 wins, and they're actually -1.
That's crazy.
When they lose, they lose.
They know how to do it. They do
But,
it.
I mean, I think it speaks, we give shit to Kirk Cousins a lot. The media does, but, we like him. We understand what he can do. Like, we know he's going to throw for 5,000 yards. He's going to win some games, all those things. But it speaks to him. Like, he knows how to win in those close games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that bodes well going into the playoffs. I mean, it sucks to see that stat if you're a Vikings fan, but I don't know if that bothers you at all.
10 wins says 10
wins.
wins. It is what it is. I guess you just pick your bad weeks to play bad. I wouldn't like that personally because playoffs, you only get 1 week. So,
yep. And
it's not like in basketball where it's like, man, every 5th or 6th game we seem to fall off because you're going to get 7 chances there. But
yep.
Football, man, if you're gonna be bad 1 week, that's gonna kill you. The consistency is gonna be what gets you through the playoffs. And right now they don't have that. They've lost big to good teams. They've given up a lot of points to good teams that they're gonna play in the playoffs possibly.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep.
Winners of this week, week 14, we had mostly close games. I think every game was pretty close except for you and Drake. But we'll get into them. Florida Sunshines defeated Olave another 134-113. So JR over Devin. Mommy Chasers got the win over Wilson. This was a close game, and it was close all day, really. We got the win 109-106. It says it says right there that I had 1,106 points. That's not what happened. It was 106. So
yeah, 106.
Just a typo.
What's funny is going into Monday, Robert had 106.5.
Yeah.
Or 106.6, something like that. I said, dude, take Stevenson out. Don't risk him getting a fumble and getting injured. I'm like, you will lose. Yeah, he did, but then he put him back in.
Yeah, he had him out. And whenever I was looking at it, I was like, man, I can't believe our game ended, that close. I'm done. So, you're going to win with Stevenson in. And he's like, yeah, Sean said I should take him out. And I was like, oh, you definitely should.
Yeah.
I was like, the only thing that you get to worry about is like a stat being corrected, which I would worry about that in a game that close. So I would play Stevenson. Yeah. But like if I was up 3 or 4, I wouldn't have played him. You know what I mean? That's
why I said before, like you decide, look for stat corrections too.
Yeah. Yeah. Like check for him. And
I mean, this could play out where he beats Damon by a couple of points in a tiebreaker, or you know what I mean? Like
that would be wild.
Probably smart to play him. We'll see if that happens or not. But
yeah, we ended up having a really close game. Glad we took it down to the wire. You got the win over Drake. We just said that was kind of the only game that wasn't too close. Kyler Murray going down obviously kept Drake's point total down, but
yeah,
he would have had to score on near 40 to get to you. So you got the win though, 128-91 over that, or over Drake. Grilling Dad game of the week. Damon got the win over Mario. The Goats over Sir Mix-a-Lot, 122-114. to 110. That was a really close game, and Mario lost 6 points from his defense too.
Which is nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts. That was a close game.
Yeah, they were, like I said, they were all really, really close. And even with Drake, Kyler could have had 25 points there, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And if he does, that game's really, really close too. I think it's one of the closest weeks that we've had all around with all the teams, I think. But
yeah, you know what we should do? We were just talking about, like, next year we should have a little spreadsheet for, like, the pick twos and everyone making their prediction and all that. But we should actually do a league-wide point differential. Because Mario's would likely be negative. Let me get rid of that. Sorry. But yeah, Mario's would likely be negative.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to see how. I mean, you kind of can see it on if you did the math.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, you could do the math. Yeah,
we could always talk about that.
Yeah.
Any bad beats? I mean, they were all close games, so you could spin any game probably any way. The only one that I really noticed was probably me and Bob. I had 1 point out of my defense and lost by 3. And they were playing the Panthers too. So I don't know what you're doing scoring 1 point against the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't really see anything that stood out. I was more looking the other way of really good plugs. And while I was looking there, I was looking for bad beats. I didn't really see any that stood out. None that were like really obvious.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, and then anytime you got a game that was in 3 points, like me and Bob's, you can look at anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like this player could have scored more, but like, would you have started him? Like Miles Sanders, really, my whole bench did really well, so I could have scored even more points. But like, it's all hindsight. There were none like where somebody didn't play the right player, at least that I saw.
Yep. Speaking of starting the right player, I was
going to say too.
AJ Plug and Play of the Week. If you guys need electrical work, you know who to call. It's the owner of Florida Sunshines. They will hook you up. Brock Purdy, 21.7 points. Big game.
Led the way.
Big game. Shutting Tom down, man. Just showing him who's boss.
He could have chose other quarterbacks, and we called it last week. Every play he's done, every waiver wire pickup has hit.
Yep. There's no reason to think that Bob's not going to hit on that waiver pickup at this point in the season. It's a great pickup though, Bob. I like the start.
On a heater.
Yeah, on a heater. I really think it, like, I couldn't imagine how cool it would be to be Brock Purdy and to have just beat Tom Brady. And I know that like some people don't like it when people say like a quarterback beat another quarterback because they're never like playing each other at all or whatever, but they know that they're playing each other, and that, it's like going against a pitcher, kind of like it's me against you. I'm going to run my team better than you run yours. And just got to feel cool to like be that young and beat Tom Brady. Like, we weren't even born yet. The dude's about to get drafted.
Right. Man, that's nuts. It's so nuts.
And
he looks good too, though.
Pretty much hands down the best quarterback of all time.
Yeah. I don't think I can even say arguably anymore, even as a big-time Peyton Manning fan.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you can either. I think you have to admit that it's Tom Brady. The longevity, if anything, sticks out. Worst starts, the only one that I did have was Devin didn't start flex.
Oh, really? I did not see that when I was looking through there. Oh, I remember that. Is this the one where he said, oh, no, this isn't the put Tony in. He had Tony in. Gotcha. Why did he not do that?
I'm not sure. I don't know if the day just got away from him on Sunday, because that's very possible.
Very possible in our state of mind.
It got away from me.
For sure. It ended up wouldn't have mattered, I guess, but
yeah, it wouldn't have mattered, but still, it's just that's the only one that I really saw that I would consider to be like a bad start. Everybody else kind of started who they probably should have.
Yeah, dang, JR's bench also went off.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, that is a bad start.
Yeah. Kind of hard to be a good one.
Yep.
Waiver ads and notable injuries. Instead of listing down notable injuries for this week, because there were a ton of them, I'm just going to read them off to you on what I typically go off of. Tyler Huntley was ruled out with a concussion against the Steelers. Tyler Boyd went down with a dislocated finger. T. Higgins, man, the blowback that Zach Taylor is getting on T. Higgins right now because he doesn't play, and it's all fantasy people, kind of complaining, but
yeah,
they're all like, man, can you just tell me what you're going to do with him? You take him off the report on Friday, so he seems fine, and then he barely plays on Sunday. Would he play like a snap? So,
yeah. If that.
So he didn't. They said he did not return with a right hamstring injury, so he probably did just play one snap and then he left. Russell Wilson, we mentioned he had a concussion. The update on him, there's really not much right now. Nathaniel Hackett said he's in high spirits, so that's pretty much it. Tyreek Hill went down with an ankle injury, but he did start the second half, so he's probably going to be fine. Jeff Wilson went down. Mike White got lit up, dude. Did you see that hit?
I did.
I was playing blackjack when that happened, and I just happened to be looking up at the screen, and all I went was, ooh. And the dealer was like, "You okay?" I'm fine. I'm not sure if that guy is, though.
Yeah, it was cool sitting there and seeing some games while playing some games and cool jerseys and whatnot.
It's fun to do that. It's hard to pay attention to the game because, the blackjack's all so fast, but it was a lot of fun, I thought, doing that. But, man, he got hit so hard. I'm really surprised he got it. It was just a clean hit, I guess. He sounded like he really got too hurt. Let's see. Deebo Samuel was ruled out against the Bucks, and that was it. Oh, Kyler Murray. Oh, my phone. Hold on just a second. Kyler Murray also went down.
He sure did.
Oh, we got a call coming in.
Have the producers push that call live.
Hello. That was weird. Sounded like a helicopter. Sounded like he was in a helicopter.
That was weird. Is that a helicopter or somebody brushing their teeth?
That's a good guess. That's a good guess. Any ads that you saw? Oh, here they're calling our producer. Can you get this figured out? Hey, man, fantasy show.
Hey, man, it's Rick. Am I live?
Rick, what's going on? You are live. What happened on that last call? My producer tried to call you in, and Sean just said it sounded like you were brushing your teeth.
Right now?
He said it's what it sounded like. All we could hear was a buzzing noise on this side.
Well, that's weird, man. I don't know. I know I called. I thought it was y'all's switchboard because I called and I didn't hear nothing.
Huh.
I didn't hear. What's up, man? What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
We're doing great. We're doing great, Rick.
Cool, man. It's Rick. I'm on the phone with some guys on the radio, and I'm live, man. I'm 6'2", 190. Ding!
Oh, you gained some weight.
Yeah, man. I've been eating them damn holiday cookies. My wife's been making cookies, right? And my kids like to do it too, and so they bake them, and I eat them, and I pack them on, right? I mean, that's what we're supposed to be doing.
It's that time of year. It's getting cold too, so you got to pack on that weight, right?
Holy shit, is it? Man, I woke up. Did I tell y'all where I live?
No.
Nope.
I live in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, and Phoenix is known for sunshine and desert and more sunshine. And I woke up this morning. Do you know what I saw on my yard?
Well, if it was
frost,
man, it's called. My grass was frozen. My shit was frozen, man. I tried to get in the truck on time to school, and I got in the truck, and the truck was frozen.
The truck was frozen.
Started. Yeah, man. I went to start it, and the truck was frozen. I said, "What the fuck's going on with that?" And so I didn't take the kids to school. My wife took the kids to school. And her Traverse was not as frozen because she drove it last night.
Oh,
And so it was okay. But we got the kids to school and everybody's okay. Everything's good. No, man, I called because I heard that y'all do a part on your show where people get to make predictions.
that's right. That's right. That's what my producer was saying. She said that you want to join in on these predictions this week.
Yeah, man, I want to make some predictions because, hell, I ain't ever wrong, right?
Uh-huh. You still there, Rick?
Hey,
Oh, there you go.
can y'all hear me?
Yep, you're there.
So it's not so much a prediction. It's more me telling your listeners who's going to win. And so they can get in there.
Yep.
So that's what I want to do for y'all's listeners today. And for y'all too, because frankly, you remember that Tony Pollard time? You remember that?
Uh-huh.
Man, I want to give some better advice because I don't want Sean to have to pay me $25 for more massages. I'm a hell of a massage chair, man, but I can only sit in that thing for so long. So
Rick, let me defend myself a little bit. This weekend, I had talked with a guy that sounded a lot like you, and I think I gave him some advice to play Jerick McKinnon, and that tended to work out this weekend.
Shit, man, Jerick McKinnon had a hell of a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So if you played him, I think we're even.
You know what happened with that team?
What happened?
He won. I won my game with Jerick McKinnon, and I hope you did. And that's awesome. So you made a pretty good prediction there, Sean.
Yeah, I think we're even now. No more massage money.
I also want to say that we've been right on our TD's nuts since then quite a few times.
Okay.
So.
Well, if y'all are done tooting y'all's own horn.
Show's 4. Absolutely, Rick. We're excited to have you on here and gets you to do these predictions, as a matter of fact. Let me run through this real quick with Sean. He went 3-1 on his predictions last week. I went 2-2. That takes record Sean's overall record to 30-22 and mine to 31-21.
Closing the gap.
So that's pretty cool.
I mean, that's winning, right? If you go to the Las Vegas and you play the blackjack and you win 31 hands and you lose 21, you would be winning some money.
Yes, absolutely.
Be happy with that.
That is winning. Okay. So who y'all got this week? What do we got?
The first matchup we got this week, Rick, this one's going to matter a little bit. Logan's mom, the owner of Logan's mom, Drake, he's got 10 wins on the season. If he wins this game, he's going to win the regular season, and that'll be a $200 profit. $100 profit, $200 to him on the season. He plays Wilson, Logan. So it's Logan versus Drake. Who you guys got in that game?
So wait a minute. Drake's team name is Logan's mom.
That's correct.
And he plays Logan and has to win or he might lose the regular season.
Yep.
Logan is not y'all where I come from, we don't crack jokes about somebody. About a lot of things. Y'all crack jokes about me, but when you talk about my mama now, there's gonna be hell to pay. And so I think that Logan is gonna whip that ass.
You think Wilson gets that win this week?
I think that Wilson is gonna beat Logan's mom. That sounds weird as hell for me to say, but I think Wilson is gonna beat Logan's mom in a theoretical sense, right? In the game, not like Wilson is not going to actually beat someone's mom.
Uh-huh.
Because you go to jail for that, right? But I I think Wilson is going to win that game, and the score will be 127.8 to 102.3.
127.8 to 102.3. Okay. Sean, who you got?
I'm actually going to agree. Unfortunately, I would love Logan's mom to lose this weekend, but I think Logan's mom picks up the win.
So I think Rick actually chose Logan to win the game. Wilson.
Oh, my bad. I misunderstood that. Yeah, so I got Logan's mom to win.
So you're
I would
going
love
with Drake?
to see. I'm going with Drake to win.
Yeah.
Even though I would like to see that not happen to make the league more interesting.
Sure. And that's what I'm actually going to predict anyway. I've got literally nothing to lose here. I'm going to take myself to win this game because I want it to be left up to like Damon and Robert and see what happens. Not that it's I don't mind if Drake wins. That's not it at all. If Drake wins, that's awesome too. I just want to see some chaos, more chaos.
Yeah, that's how I am. Yeah. Nothing against Drake. I just want to see the league.
Right. If Drake wins, he deserves that win. He's had a hell of a team, and he'll have an extra win than everybody. So I like it too that it's left up to Drake, win or not. Second game, we've got Olave Nuther versus the GOATs, Devin versus Damon. Rick, who you got in this one?
Man, I don't know about this one, man. I think it's going to be tight. A really, really tight one. And I think I'm going to go with the GOATs. And I don't know why, but I'm going to go with the GOATs. I think it's because the Saints suck, and that's who Olave plays for. And if your team name has someone in it that plays on a team that sucks, I can only imagine that your team sucks as well.
It certainly works with my team and Russell Wilson.
Man, they are not very good, man. I'm not pleased. Do you think they would trade him back to the Seattle Seahawks for the 12th man?
I think that'd be a good trade.
I think so.
That would make a lot of sense. I think it would. Well, I'm going to go with the GOATs, man, the Billy Goats.
Okay.
Y'all ever heard a goat scream, man?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Holy shit, man, they can scream. Ah! It's like, what the fuck was that, man? I did not know that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Sean.
I'm going with the GOATs as well.
GOATs as well. I will also go with the GOATs. I think Devin's going to still play, but his team might be a little bit checked out, and Damon's team knows that they got to win to have a shot. So I'm going to go with Damon, the GOATs as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good matchups.
Did y'all say Damon's going to take a shot?
Damon won't take shots.
Oh, man. Did I tell y'all about that time I went to Mexico?
On the Mexico beach?
Yeah, man, I went to the Mexico beach. Did I tell you that story?
Absolutely, yep.
Oh, man, that was wild. I took shots in Mexico on the Mexico beach.
Tequila?
Yeah, man, lots and lots of tequila, and I drank some TK too. And then I caught the coronavirus, which is just weird as hell, man, to catch it. But I don't drink Corona. I never understood it.
Yeah, that still doesn't make quite as much sense to me.
I've never understood it. So okay.
So all right, yeah. Let's get going here. Sean versus JR. We've got Amon-Ra Meal. That one's so hard to say. Amon-Ra Real Monsters versus Florida Sunshines. It's kind of a consolation game, but JR versus Drake. We'll start with Sean here. Sean, who you got?
I'm going with myself.
Kind of figured.
Amon-Ra Real Monsters. I can't, even though I know all the projections and what they say, but can't listen to what the media is saying, We just got to show up every game and show out.
Right.
We've been watching Last Chance U, and we're pumped up.
Oh, love that show. Who you got, Rick?
You know what, man? I like that Sean believes in himself, but I think that's dumber than shit. I'm going to go.
Jared's got a good team. He's got a good team. Once
Oh,
he
yeah,
starts
yeah.
all these players.
Well,
Yeah,
and
team's
that
solid.
okay, so here's my question, because that's the condition, is that he actually fields a full roster, because I don't know that he's going to be able to do that.
As of right now, all the positions are playing. So if he
Yeah.
does nothing at all, it'll be good.
He's still got it.
And so if JR does nothing, which we all can't assume is going to happen, and he has a chance, I'm going to go with JR.
Okay. Good pick. Good pick, Rick.
Can you say that team name for me 5 times as fast as you can?
Which one? The Florida Sunshines or Amon-Ra Real Monsters?
Yeah, that one.
Because no, I can't.
No,
Amon-Ra
Sean,
Real
can you say that
Monsters.
5 times real fast?
I could say it one. I could barely say it one time fast.
Yeah, I could say it once. I lost my voice a little bit, Rick. I don't know if I could say anything 5 times fast right now. I would sound like a goat screaming.
Okay, I hear you, Sean. I hear you, man. I hear you. Okay, Logan, I did not mean to cut you off.
Oh, no. No problem at all. In that game, I'm taking Sean as well. I'm going to take the underdog. I'm going to take Sean to win it. I think that would put Sean on top of Jared for the season. Like I said, it doesn't matter. It's just a consolation, but still, I'll take Sean.
Hey, man, they all matter.
In the end,
they all matter.
Final game, Grilling Dad, game of the week. Sir Mix-a-Lot versus Mommy Chasers. Mario versus Robert. The reason that I had selected this one to be the Grilling Dad game of the week is just based on it's an early potential playoff matchup. Why not? You know? And Robert having a shot at winning the season with that. Drake, I thought about putting Drake up there because Drake has the best chance to win, and that's probably a game that people are going to be watching for sure, but it's against the last place team. I think this game's going to be a little bit more fun to watch just because it's a playoff preview.
Yep. I'll say any game that has Robert in it's got potential to be the Grilling Dad game of the week. When you start 1-5 and you rattle off 8 wins in a row, people are going to want to watch.
Yeah, people are going to watch.
Man, you ain't lying, Sean.
Rick,
you ain't lying.
Rick, who you got in that game? Sir Mix-a-Lot versus Mommy Chasers. Mario versus Robert.
You know what, man? I like team names, and I think that Mommy Chasers now that's a good team name if you like to chase mamas, and I think that Sir Mix-a-Lot is a good team name if you like Sir Mix-a-Lot of wins in, and so I don't know which way to go on this one. May I phone a friend?
I don't think we phoned friends here.
No, y'all don't do that lifeline. Y'all ever seen that show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yep.
Oh man, they get to phone a friend. They get to get rid of some of the possible answers. I mean, they get all kinds of lifelines, and I want a lifeline, and y'all ain't going to give me that?
I can give you a 50-50. You ready?
Okay.
I'll get rid of Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Okay, that makes it easier on me. So I'm gonna go with the Mama Chasers.
All
I'm gonna
right.
go with the Mama Chasers because I think
that's a great pick.
Sir Mix-a-Lot. That's the only other team that I can pick.
And you would be picking the team who has won 8 games in a row as well.
And
So.
that's what I'm saying, y'all. But man, y'all know this. You gonna win 8 games in a row, but that ain't 9 games in a row. That's still only 8 games in a row, and you still got to go out and play that 9th game. And so, I don't know. He's on a roll, and let's go with the Mama Chasers. They are going to win that game, and the final score, is going to be 162 to 147.
Oh, big game. Good playoff preview game for us.
That's it.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And what's interesting, I've never noticed this before, but on here you can look at the previous matchups between the teams, and they've been blowouts so far. And I think
that is really cool.
I think Rick's onto something. I think this is going to be a much closer matchup, but I'm not going away from it. I'm chasing mamas this weekend too.
Yep. I think Bob's got the win. I'm also taking Bob. It's too hard to go against a team that's got 8 wins in a row, and he knows what's on the line here. So.
Yep.
All right, Rick. But that does it all for the predictions here, man. We're gonna let you go and get on with the show and let you get on with whatever you're doing for the day, man. We want to thank you again for calling in and giving that idea for the predictions to the producer.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all putting on this show. I really do. I really do. Honey, I'm going to hang up. You got anything you want to say? No? Drunker than hell right now. Oh, man. Okay.
Hey, Rick, can I ask you to do me a favor?
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. What's up?
Hey, man, can you have your wife and kids bake us some cookies and send them to the studio?
Oh, man, you are not kidding. I will do that for you, Sean. It's going to cost you about $25.
That's all right. I'm a sucker for cookies, man.
Okay, man, I will talk to my wife and I will let her know that we need to get some cookies shipped off to the studio, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night now.
Yes.
Yep.
You too.
Take care.
Thanks.
All right, y'all. Thanks.
That was fun to have Rick on there for the predictions. I was really thinking he was going to bring up Jeff Saturday playing on Saturday.
I did too.
I thought that
Who
was going to
knows?
confuse him too. That would have sent him for a loop, I think.
It definitely would have. That would have happened. Jeff Saturday playing on a Saturday, but we told him he plays on Sundays. Ooh, he would not like that.
We'll go back to where we were, though. Waiver ads. Notable injuries. Did you see anybody get picked up this week?
One that I actually saw, and which is just kind of weird, but Gabe Davis getting dropped from Mike Williams. Mike Williams came back from injury, had a great game, and if he's going to play like that and going to get targets, it's a good pickup. I just don't like that he dropped Gabe Davis. I think Gabe Davis is about to have a monster week this week. Like, flash forward to DFS, he's one of my picks.
Oh, is he?
If you're playing Saturday games. I just think it's a great matchup he has. So I thought that was kind of weird, but I mean, I don't mind it at all. I like the Mike Williams pickup. I just don't necessarily like dropping Gabe Davis for this week in particular. Mm-hmm. Foster finally got picked up. Someone finally listened and picked up Foster Moreau off the waivers, and then it wasn't. It was Jerry Jeudy was the other one I thought was really good. He's finally back from injury. Russell Wilson finally has a good game with Jerry Jeudy there, forcing him the ball, and I don't think that's a coincidence, and they're going to have to continue doing that if they want to put up numbers. So, but you see anything else?
No, I really didn't notice too much. I did pick up Mike White just because they're playing the Lions this week, but I have to keep an eye on what he's going to do, if he's going to play or not. So that's just something that, and I'm like, it's not going to matter too much for me other than just trying to play and help create chaos in the league. But I want to try to give Drake a good game just so everybody has a shot. I know Robert and Damon would be pretty upset if I just left my squad out there and didn't do anything with it. So
yeah, for sure. For sure. Real quick question on that though. What do you think? What do the Jets do if Mike White's not ready? Like, what direction do you think they go?
They're going to play Zach Wilson, actually, because they just promoted him to second string. So
that's rough, man. It would be so rough to be a young quarterback like Zach Wilson and Sam Darnold too. I mean, my gosh, he had so many chances and flubbed them up, but still just being young and having a couple flashes of good games and then just looking like a dud in all the other ones.
Yeah.
And then just you're done. That's it. You had your shot.
The one thing I do want to talk about too on the list of injuries here is how much do you think that Kyler Murray injury is going to impact Drake here?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Arizona. I'm sitting him this week. I'm not letting him play.
Kyler Murray can't play.
Oh, I thought he was. I didn't know that.
Tore his
That's
ACL.
Yeah, that's news to me. That is news to me. I won't even pretend like I knew that at all. I did not know that. So ask the question again now that I have new knowledge.
Kyler Murray has a torn ACL.
Yeah, but what's the question? What would I do from the Cardinals?
No, with Drake's team. So Drake does have Tua, and he does have Daniel Jones.
Yep, who he likes.
Who's actually ranked over Kyler on the year.
Yeah.
Kyler.
And Drake likes Daniel Jones. Like, I don't think he'll go out and pick up a Colt McCoy.
Yeah, I don't think he will either. That's kind of where I was going. Do you think he'll go after a Colt McCoy thing, or I think he's fine with what he's got. Daniel Jones is having just a fine enough year to be a QB too. So
yeah, and I think we kind of talked on it in the what would you do last week. Like, this is where depth comes into play. Someone's going to get hurt, and you gotta have players to.
You said that. Yep.
And man, that sucks. I didn't realize Kyler. Now I feel really bad for Kyler.
Yeah, it really sucks for him. He's going to miss a lot of next year, probably. I mean, at least he'll probably start the year on the PUP list, realistically.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what that does for Kingsbury and Kime, but I don't know.
He might. I mean, he's not like built like Adrian Peterson. He might miss most of next year, if not all of it.
He could. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you say you were to get through, it doesn't seem to take any of them like a year to come back from it anymore. Though either. I know when AP came back, it was really, really fast. It just seems like now they're all coming back like 9 or 10 months. But say he did miss a year, or even 10 months, that takes you into October. But say he misses half the year next year, and you're sitting at I don't know, less than 500. What good is it going to do to bring him back in for the year? So maybe it's like a cautionary thing, and you just sit him, and it is what it is.
And then it's like Jacoby Brissett, like
you have to fire Kingsbury if you're going to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Right. What do you? My gosh, yeah. If I'm Drake, I don't really care. I'm just going to grab someone else on my bench, throw him on there. I'll play Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I do that. Yep, same thing. I just play Daniel Jones and not even think about it.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Let him go score 13 or 15 points, and let Tua be the one that needs to go score 25 or 30, whatever it is.
Yeah, and Daniel Jones, he's had a couple of weeks where he'll rush for a couple of touchdowns in a game and boost up.
I don't think he's scored less than 10 points the entire year,
which is awesome.
I'm gonna look again. I'm sorry, he scored less than 10 one time, and he scored 9.04 against the Seahawks in Week 8.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just fine. Pretty consistent. Yep. Gets the job done.
He is, yeah, and they're winning games, and I mean they played Philly the last week here, but otherwise, I mean the Commanders are pretty tough against the run. Otherwise, he's got pretty solid matchups. So, I mean, he's going to be forced to throw the ball here is what I mean. So potential for interceptions.
So this week on What Would You Do, since we were really going through most of the playoff teams and just kind of listing off the what would you do if you were each one of those playoff teams, those are already set now. So there's not really much that any of those teams can do other than just try to win the game that they're in and try to win the regular season. Mario's probably stuck at that 4 spot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see a possibility for him to move up at all. But instead of doing that, we're going to do it as what would you do, Sean, differently? What would you have done differently this year on the season to get into these playoff talks and be one of those 4 teams that are looking at advancing after this week?
Well, I mean, I think I would push harder to trade away from my first overall pick. It's something I've been superstitious about for a long time, and I've said it year after year after year. Like, it's bad juju to have the first overall pick. And I don't know the stats on this, but I would venture to say those who have the number one pick rarely make the playoffs in our league. I don't think it's
Probably.
happened the last several years. And it's just tough because your team is essentially that player's forced to play really well. And grabbing JT early, I thought the Colts would be a lot better. So I don't know that that was necessarily a bad pick, but I also know whoever has Travis Kelce usually wins a lot of games in our league. So I would have tried to trade down, not taking Kelce at 1, and just maybe got like an extra pick somewhere else. But then also just looking at it, I mean, I know positional ranks not everything, but I mean, I've got the number 8 ranked, quarterback, 8 and number 2 and number 10 ranked running backs, with receivers, 6 and 28. Zay Jones started the season really inconsistent, and Pat's, number 5 at tight end, and the Eagles are number 4. So, I mean, the team itself is pretty good, and a lot of players who came on late. Najee's finally playing well. Rashad White's getting a lot more touches. T. Higgins, he's been somewhat inconsistent just from injuries lately, but when he has good games, they're great games. So I don't think it's necessarily players. I think I made some good moves. I think they were just too late, and probably because I was scared to get rid of JT because I had such a bias towards him.
Sure. Yeah, he's your number
But
one.
I tried.
It's really hard to trade that pick, like you said.
It is.
Even it being your first round, it's a little tough. But the first pick overall just seems to have more on it. It's got more ketchup on it, or mustard, or however you want to put it. Like, I don't want to trade him because if I trade him, I know he's going to do well.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to do well. So that's a little bit of the part of the reasons why you don't trade him, or you're afraid you're not getting enough back for him, etc.
Yep. So, I think it was just a little too late. I was trying to get a little too much out of him because it was like probably 4 weeks in a row. I was like aggressively trying to trade him, but I was just asking for too much in return.
Yeah.
At least at that time. So, should have waited until he had a really breakout game and got a little bit more value, or gave him up a little bit earlier. Either way, I definitely did not play my cards right there.
Well, it hurt you too that he got hurt. So that toyed with you a little bit for a few weeks, and then his value was questionable for everybody. Nobody knew.
And no one knew.
Yeah, no one knew. So.
Yep. But I would say those are the things really. Most weeks, there's been 1 or 2 times where I didn't play the right players, but most weeks I got it right.
Yeah.
I picked up good players on the waivers. Again, I think the team itself is decent, but that's what I would do. I would make moves earlier and be more aggressive with trading a player whose stock is trending down and trading before it's rock bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm not going to chase. That's what I've learned. I'm not going to chase somebody and hope that they start playing well and just trust the numbers. Like Drake has said before in a video, trust the buttons. And you got to. You got to trust them. And if the numbers are saying that they're not performing well, get rid of them or don't start them. Like, I was starting Jonathan Taylor. I should have benched him at least for a couple of weeks.
Should have been benched.
Even if I couldn't have traded him, I should have benched him. I was just holding on to hope, and definitely cost me quite a few games. First time not being on playoffs ever since the inception of this league, which sucks. But now I know what it feels like.
That's all right. You'll know what to do next year.
Yep. Yeah. What about you, man? What would you do differently?
Man, I had terrible luck this year. I hate to blame it on luck because I'm not that type of person. But I had really, really bad luck this year, man. I did. I know I did. That's what breaks it down. And then it also made me do desperate things throughout the year that, making trades that maybe weren't like super smart, but I was just trying to stay alive and try to do something. because I wasn't winning with the guy. So you just got to try to do something different, mix it up. And no, I mean, I probably, that I wouldn't do too much different other than maybe just take Kelsey at that 7 spot instead of Andrews. But that's a little hindsight too, because the Andrews injury is what ended up hurting me there.
Yep.
The first 2 games, I got almost 60 points from him, and I just got put. Drake put up 170 or whatever, then JR put up 200, and I just kept losing games by less than 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
I had a ton for a very long time. I had a ton. I had like the 4th or 5th highest scoring team in the league with only 1 win.
Yeah,
and then I stopped trying to score points, and I started playing just matchups. I was like, I just got to see if something else will work.
Yeah. I mean, and I was in a position. I had the 3rd fewest points scored against me. Like I should have been able, even if I just broke even most weeks and squeaked out a few wins, I would have made it, and I didn't.
Yeah.
Yours was the case. It was. And I mean, you don't necessarily have to blame it on bad luck, but I will. You and Devin both.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that about Devin. Devin had a better team than I did, and that probably means he had worse luck than I did too, because that's a 9. I think his team looks like a 9-win team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at it too, I mean, this might be the first time that this many moves has been made in a year when you look at the transactions
between everyone. Yeah,
trades,
everybody.
Yeah, yep. Everybody's actually getting involved. And seeing yours at 54, man, I mean, it just shows you're freaking trying.
I was trying.
Yep.
I was trying. I missed on some waiver pickups for sure, but that's just because I was so active and trying to mix things up and trying to do stuff. But that's why I say, when you lose that amount of games early, you start doing stuff that's a little desperate. You got to take some shots, or you just sit at the back of the pack the whole time and wonder what would I do? What would
I was wondering if there was a place. Can you see? Oh, it's a counter. Can you see? I know recent activity, but individual ones. Like, can I look at all the moves I've made somewhere, or I have to look at each player?
No. Let me check. Let me check this app real quick, because I think that there is a way to filter that. If you go to recent activity. Yeah, you can. You can filter, and filter it by the team, and you can do the dates, like from this date to that date.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So you can look at every single transaction everybody made all season.
Yep, that's pretty cool. But wait, why is that not only showing yours?
That is. It's all Wilson.
Oh, your code name is dope. I gotcha. Yeah. I was looking for Wilson over here. Gotcha. Yep, it's a lot of moves, man. I mean, you picked up Foster Moreau a couple of times.
He didn't really do much while I had him. He did a little bit, but
dropped James Cook a couple of times. Yeah, and I feel like I was just thinking about that with both of us. I mean, because you said it and I thought about it. Like, is there a way to do? Yeah, here we go. Trades. Where I had to trade some players that I didn't necessarily want to trade, and I had to lose some of those trades just to switch it up and get somebody. Like, I remember giving up Stephon Diggs, and it looked like for nothing, but it helped my team get a couple wins.
Right. And see, that was another thing. I will say that a trade that went wrong for me, hindsight, is whenever I traded Justin Jefferson. So I traded him with Jeff Wilson and Cordero Patterson, whom neither of them I was going to start this year. And DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams was a good little pickup for me. DeAndre Swift missing the entire year, not the entire year, but pretty much the entire year for me. And Keenan Allen missing up until week 12 to when I had to trade him or whatever. That made the trade really, really bad and gave me nothing. Like, I was supposed to get 2 usable players for my 1 good receiver, and it turned into 1 mediocre player.
Yep.
So hindsight, maybe don't trade that. But I thought it was a fine trade. And actually, I won the trade, breaking everything down, even getting the same running backs. So
if we had to go back to September 20th and I had this team, I would make that trade too, though.
yeah, I just, I want to get better at two positions than at this one position because I had running back issues.
Yep.
Big ones,
Yep. That's interesting. Yeah, we had a couple.
Maybe I would have done that differently, but I don't know that. I know I trade people all the time, so I would have traded somebody else. It wouldn't matter.
Yep. And one of these David Montgomery every year finds his way onto my team, and nobody will ever accept a trade. So I just have to drop him every year. So next year, that's another goal of mine. Just don't have David Montgomery on my team.
Yeah, just not have him. That's a good one.
Yeah. But yeah, man, there were a lot of trades and stuff. That who knows? Nothing went the right way this year.
And I think you had mentioned it this week. At the time, I had like 1,895 points scored on me, and nobody had even scored that in the league.
Yeah. Yep.
That sucks.
Where is that? Oh, scoreboard. Oh, it's standings.
Bad defense.
Bad defense. Yep, 2,000. Now, it's even a wider spread. Yeah, you had 2,000 points scored against you. So everyone brings their best game against Logan.
Yep.
And
had to do it.
Yep. It's rough.
We'll go on to TD's nuts. Last week I hit with Derrick Henry. Did Justin Jefferson end up scoring a touchdown? I think he did.
I don't remember.
He had a fucking tremendous game. I know that.
He is on Olave another, right?
Mm-hmm. He did not get a tug.
Yeah, he scored 33 points and didn't score a touchdown.
Yeah. Hit 220 yards receiving.
Yep. So missed that. 11 receptions on 15 targets.
Yeah.
My goodness.
It's unreal. And that would, let's see, we were each at 2-2, so that puts me at 3-2 and you at 2-3 for TD's nuts.
I don't like that.
You got anybody that you know of this week that you want to put on yours?
Yep, Gabe Davis.
Oh yeah, you're high on him.
I am. It's my dude this week.
Just taking a quick look.
The only thing I was kind of scared about is that if I think Miami's good enough to hang in there with Buffalo, I think Buffalo wins. But the only scary part is if Buffalo gets up too big because it's so late in the season, they may start resting people. It's kind of like what we thought with Delvin Cook may happen last week, but
yeah.
That's the only concern. But otherwise, I think it's just a prime matchup Saturday night. And it's in Miami where it's going to be warm. So,
yeah, I'm excited about that game on Saturday night. I think it's going to be a really fun one to watch too.
The fact it's a Saturday night and the team is going to be staying there, they know they're not going to be partying at all until the night after.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just prime time. Unlike IU partying the night before a game.
So on mine, I've got Alvin Kamara for TD's nuts this week. They play the Falcons.
Yep.
Both teams are bad, so they're both just going to play. Nobody's getting pulled, and they both want to win because it's a divisional game. So they're coming off of a bye. I think Kamara is going to get in the zone.
He's he's only got 3 total touchdowns this year. 2 received, and that was in one game.
Isn't that crazy? He scored almost a third of his fantasy points in that one game.
Yeah. And look what happens when you give him the ball.
In mine, I think it's so crazy that they don't give him the ball 30 times a game whenever you look at stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Find a way to make that happen.
Yeah. Give him the damn ball.
He needs 10 targets and 20 carries every game.
Yeah. Every single game. There's no reason he doesn't get that.
Yeah. Man, could you imagine someone like him in the system of like Carolina where they just force feed the ball to the running back?
Give him the ball. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good pick. I like it. Gabe Davis.
Alvin
Kamara.
All right, let's go, boys. I wanted to pick a Saturday one just because I like Saturday football, but
yeah, same.
I really liked Kamara. I thought it was a cool one, and I think he'll have a decent little even money to win next week. DFS lineups.
Yep, I think it depends because there are those Saturday games, and they were actually tough to pick. Probably just because there's so few, but just the matchups look pretty good. I am probably going a little like it's going to be tough. I don't know what the ownership number is going to look like for Deshaun Watson against Baltimore.
You're looking at, we're doing Saturdays right now, right?
Right now I'm looking at Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. But I actually like the matchup against Baltimore and People's Choice Awards as well. And Njoku. May even throw in Nick Chubb. I just really like the matchups there against Baltimore. So we'll see. Hey, we've got a live comment here. Is Debo coming back week 17?
I don't know. That's a really good question. There's not an update on it right now. As far as I can see, whenever he was ruled out, they said that it was likely a high ankle sprain. So if you're going to ask me, being a high ankle sprain, probably not. I would look for Debo to come back. They're going to make the playoffs, and they're going to want him to rest.
Do you think he'll come back at all?
No. If it's a high ankle sprain, absolutely not. If that's the case.
I think if they're in it depends where the standings are. A lot can change in 4 games.
Yeah, 4 to 6. That's right, KY. 4 to 6 weeks is typically a high ankle sprain. If it's a good one, he's going to be out for a minute. So there's no reason for him to be coming back if that is indeed what happened. That's what they thought happened. I've not checked an update since yesterday. This update was from yesterday. So
yeah, and I mean the thing is, I don't know that they need him. As crazy as that sounds, like rest him up. You just paid the guy.
Here we go. I got you one. Shanahan said he expects Debo to miss 3-ish weeks. So likely looking at, I know with those larger leagues, you guys are probably already in your playoffs. Might be droppable. Yeah, he might be droppable. If you've only got a couple weeks left to playoffs, even 3, he might be. I mean, I wouldn't drop him if you got 3 weeks left. But even if say he does come back in 3 weeks, how much is he going to play?
Yeah, I think I would not drop him unless I'm picking up someone I can play. And in that case, there's someone on my bench I wouldn't play. Yeah, rest him coming into the playoffs. But yeah, if there's someone on your bench that you're not going to play, just throw him on your bench. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're going to pick up a free agent that's going to play, that means someone else on your bench is also not playing. Get rid of them instead. Yeah. Because if Debo comes back and you have a chance to play him in the championship game, like, why not have that extra firepower? But if you got guys that are going to start over him or can start over him instead, like, yeah. I don't know. I'd probably play a little defense, keep him on my bench so I don't have to go against him that final week. But
Yeah, because I don't want to play against him. I certainly don't want to play against him if he happens to play, but I don't expect Debo to play the remaining of the regular season if you were asking me, just because it's a serious injury. That's nothing to mess around with. So I think he would have rather broke his toe.
Yep. For sure.
DFS lineups though, Sean, I did want to mention to you. Over-unders on Saturday. The highest one is the Colts and Vikings game at 48.5.
Yeah, I actually have Adam Thielen in a lineup I started with earlier. and Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's at 6,900. Let me pull up the other guys. So Jonathan Taylor is 72. Let me go back one more because Nick Chubb is 7,400. Jonathan Taylor is 72. And then Dalvin Cook at 6,900. And I think they're going to feed him the ball. And if that's going to be a high-scoring game, a lot of scoring opportunities, I like him. And I like Adam Thielen in that game too.
I like Thielen. I think I like Thielen a lot in that game as well. Colts don't defend very well against the number 2 wideout, and I just think that the Vikings. I don't know. It's not like I guess they would bench Thielen if they were going to bench Jefferson. It just seems like a Thielen game, sort of.
Yep, it does.
You know.
Yep.
Then that's one thing. KY mentioned something on here, guys, because I know Sean was high on Foster Moreau. Waller's likely coming back, so Moreau's not that high anymore, and that's why he was dropped this week, actually.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see that he's been picked up and dropped, picked up and dropped, picked up and dropped.
By a bunch of different teams.
He's the area doorknob, if you will.
The other thing I wanted to mention too, the over-under on the Dolphins and Bills game is only at 42.5.
Yeah, that's one I'll probably hit the over on.
Yeah, I think
either one of those teams could score that.
And the spread is 7.5. That almost says take the Dolphins and 7.5 to cover.
Mm-hmm. Man, who knows, man? Vegas, they know too much.
Very true.
They know way too much.
Learn that real quick.
So let's ask this. Yeah, Sunday games. So if White sits, are you starting Zach Wilson at 5,100 against Detroit?
I know where you're going. I like where your head's at. I just do not like Zach Wilson, and I don't like the fact that they didn't throw the ball at all the last time he was in the game. And they can blame Zach Wilson all they want for that. That's the coach's fault.
Mm-hmm.
And that shows that the coach does not trust him. Trust doesn't change whenever you sit out for 3 weeks. So I would not pick him up. I would rather just be wrong if I was wrong, but you know, what's going on with it? Yeah, exactly. I don't think they have faith in him. The trust isn't there. And I don't like it enough to start him. But I do like where your head's at. And DFS, you know, it's going to be that cheap.
Right. If he's that cheap and you need somebody like you want to play up somewhere else, I'm fading him completely, even at that price. Yeah. I think Detroit's defense is going to eat him alive.
I think any defense will eat him alive. He's going to go 2 for 9. It doesn't
with 7 interceptions.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they trust him. So it's not as much of a Zach Wilson issue as it is a coaching issue, and I just don't think that they think that he can do it.
Yeah, Detroit's defense, middle of the pack this week at 3,000. I think I'm taking a shot there. I'm playing them, regardless of who they're going against, or who's going to be starting at quarterback. I think Detroit's defense is getting better, and they're forcing turnovers. So, and if Zach Wilson's the one throwing the ball, then I definitely want the opposing defense. Did you see any other players there that you like, though?
From that game, from the Lions and Jets game, or just all?
No, just this weekend. Yeah.
Sunday. Okay. Yeah. So the Chiefs and Texans game, I think that some of those Texans players are worth taking a look at. A couple of those receivers in DFS, they're going to be cheap, and the Chiefs aren't. The Chiefs defense showed that they're not really on right now by letting the Broncos do a little bit to them, and they're going to let their guard down, I think. So I like some of the Texans players. I think Rex Burkhead could be a good start, maybe if you want to throw a running back in there. I also want to mention that the over-under on that game is 49.5. So big spread. Chiefs probably going to score 30 or 35, but that leaves some points out there for the Texans, and they're all going to be cheap.
Yep. And just to mention again, I mean, Houston's got the worst run defense in the league. So McKinnon and Pacheco are both playable. I mean, let's see, what is McKinnon? McKinnon's 5,200. Pacheco's 5,900. I think they're both playable. I mean, you could potentially start both.
Yeah. I like Pacheco a lot.
I do too, man. He just runs hard.
Yeah. I think Pacheco's really nice. Really, any of those Chiefs players, you can take shots on them. We've mentioned that before. It's hard to predict who's going to get the good game. But in a game against the Texans, they're all probably going to do well. So you could take a shot on any of them. Maybe go for a couple of those cheap guys instead of Kelsey.
Mm-hmm.
Juju's not cheap anymore, but he could be a guy that you can maybe take a look at. But I would just rather go with a Texans wide receiver and try to hit the over on those points and then go somewhere else. Go high with maybe Kelsey or something. But
yeah, right now Cooks is listed at 4,900, which to mention, because I said the Texans are the worst defense against running backs. As far as fantasy points go, nobody gives up more fantasy points to wide receivers than Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of why I really like it.
Yeah. So Brandon Cooks is only
the Titans really enjoy. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. No, he's just $4,900. Cooks is.
Okay. Yeah. They got another one, number 13. I think his last name is Johnson.
Let's take a look.
Nick Johnson, I think, or something like that.
Collins,
that's it. It's Collins.
Nico Collins.
Yep, that's him.
Yeah, right now it says he is questionable. Let's see. Oh, he's ruled out the game.
He's not playing.
Don't start him if he's not playing. It's good. Yeah, no new news on him. He left the game and didn't return. So who knows? We'll see if he plays.
The only other real game that I wanted to mention was the Cowboys and Jags. That's a real high over under at 47.5. Jags are another team where, we're kind of high. We're kind of high on the Jags and their guys, just because they're always throwing the ball. They're just always in those games where you got to score points because their defense is always giving up those points. So pick one. Zay Jones is probably the dude. Evan Ingram had a great game last week. He was the dude there. Which he might be a look this week in DFS too, but I bet he's going to be pretty pricey and owned in a lot of spots being in that game against Dallas and the high runner and everything. So
yeah, Dak, I cannot believe this. Dak is only $6,200 going against Jacksonville. I think that's a must start.
I think that's a really good start, actually.
And
throwing Dak out there.
And then CeeDee Lamb partnering up, man. There's a lot of juicy matchups this weekend to come up with the lineup. Double
them. I also like throw Dalton Schultz in there.
Yeah, might as well.
He might get you 15 points, man. It'd be pretty easy. KY got a question. Yeah, KY got a question. What happened with James Robinson? No love from the Jets.
I think that's exactly it. The Jets are really bad at managing a football team.
Yep. I think that's
James
it too.
Robinson is good. He showed it every time he gets a touch or got a touch. He's showed it in Jacksonville, and they have other guys, right? They had options. That's why they got rid of him. Is they had other options. So yeah,
Zonovan Knight is worth a look this week in fantasy against the Lions, and especially if Zach Wilson plays because they can't throw the ball. And that dude has scored over 10 points the last 3 weeks. They've showed that they prefer him over James Robinson, which makes you think, why did you even trade for him? And it goes back to what Sean just said. It's a poorly ran organization.
Yeah. Oh, man. I just wish they had figured it out, man.
But, yeah, I would go with Zonovan Knight. I don't know what he cost in DFS, but he was a guy that I had written down just because of that high over-under game.
He's 5,300.
It's pretty cheap for a running back that's been
It's
scoring
not bad.
15 points a game, pretty much.
Yep, not bad. Not bad at all. Anyone else? Any last guys there? I know I like taking the fast guys against Tennessee. And this week, that would actually be Mike Williams. He's much faster than Keenan Allen is. My gosh, man.
They have a big over-under, too.
Can you stay healthy for one freaking season, Mike Williams? It's so hard to trust him. Because you don't know, like every game he has, he probably has just as much of a chance of getting injured as he does scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, I would agree.
And it's so frustrating.
I would agree. He's the type of dude that scores 30 and then he gets hurt the next game and he's out for 2. And then he comes back for a couple games and scores 20 and 30 and then gets hurt. That one can get annoying.
Yep.
Yeah, they do. They have a pretty big over under. I think it's 47.5 as well. So
nice
in that game.
That is a big one. That is a big one. Yeah, there's some good players, man. A lot of really good players who are like decently cheap. Chris Godwin's at 6,700. Christian Kirk at 66. This is a good week to make a lineup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you make a fun lineup. Watch a lot of fun games too. Speaking of picking them, we'll get to our pick 2. Last week, Sean, I got you 46.7 to 38.6, and I had Amon-Ra St. Brown and Justin Jefferson. You had Jamar Chase and Devontae Adams. We both had high scores. You had Jamar Chase score 28. I had JJ go for 33.
Yep.
That was a fun one.
Nice.
He took the season to 8-5 on us, so it doesn't look like I'm going to catch up to you unless we involve the playoffs too. We can, but
yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. So it's 8-5. I basically have to win out to send us to 8-8 on that competition, though. You got any ideas for positions that you want to do this week?
I like the idea of doing 2 of the same position. That was really fun. Let's do the same thing, but with running backs.
Uh-oh, Lewis.
I almost went quarterback.
Higbee dropped off the planet. Yes, he did, KY. That's correct. Sorry about that, Louis. Louis having a time.
It's all good. I think I know who I want to go with. But I don't know if I've already picked them. One of them I know for sure. The other one I'm not sure. Lou Dog is fired up.
Yep.
Yeah, he is.
He didn't like that Higbee comment.
No.
Higbee has fallen off the face of the planet, though. I think he is a droppable dude. Wouldn't start him. Wouldn't touch him.
I don't think I'm starting anybody from the Rams.
Me neither. Yeah, that entire team is brutal right now. Wouldn't touch him. Whenever Cooper Kupp went down, everybody should have done.
Yep. And then Matthew. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Sean McVay just has to find out who he's got, what dogs you got, are willing to fight and bring them back next year. Otherwise, just reboot.
Right.
But I'd like to go with Christian McCaffrey and Dalvin Cook. But I don't know if I've picked Dalvin Cook this year or not.
I don't think that you have.
I for sure haven't picked McCaffrey. I've actually been a McCaffrey hater.
Been stashing him.
Yep.
Man, your running backs are going to be a lot better than mine this week. But I like the if this was one of those, if we did the thing where I can only pick them one time, this would be really good because I'm taking Zonovan Knight and Alvin Kamara. I'm gonna stick with my
I like
DFS. I like Zonovan Knight and DFS a lot, and I like Alvin Kamara and my TD's nuts. So I'm gonna roll with them this week. I'm gonna pick 2 as well.
I like that. Yeah, I kind of think we could combine these, the TD's nuts and pick 2. And then we just pick 2 players that are going to score touchdowns.
Yeah. But
And
then
if
you would
it's
be like 1 for 2 or 0 for 2 or whatever. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
I think that'd be fine.
Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be cool. We'll definitely,
Because
we're
we
definitely
both like doing those bets, like a parlay of 2 people scoring.
yeah.
And that's like, yeah, it just sets it up perfectly for that, keeping track of the monies.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fun. So you got McCaffrey, I got Cook, or you got McCaffrey and Dalvin Cook, and I got Zonovan and Alvin Kamara. That should be a fun one. Akers stresses me out. Yep, stresses me out too, okay.
Yep.
So we already went through the predictions this week when Rick called in. Again, thank you, Rick. That was cool. Appreciate to have you do that. We got one final section for you guys. We're gonna do these for the next few weeks. Playoff preview. Instead of this is in lieu of power rankings. We're not doing power rankings anymore. That's all pretty much done. We're gonna talk about the playoffs a little bit. Drake obviously has to win to be able to play Mario. Let's say that Drake does play Mario. Let's say things pan out as they look to happen, and that would be Drake getting the win, and then Damon and Bob playing each other, this is exactly what Damon wanted.
It is.
He asked for it. What do you think? Say they shape out right now. Where you got? Who you got winning that top game, bottom game?
I mean, I think this one will be really tough. Both teams dealt with just some adversity lately. Lamar going down, Kyler going down. I think it'll be really tough, man. But I think Mario wins that matchup if it stays there. Got a lot of firepower, a lot of guys who are still in the playoff hunt, like in real football. So they're going to be playing down here, man. It's hard. I can't bet against Robert. Damon needs to hope that he's not down here, because that would be. These are the 2 best teams in the league, in my opinion. And so
I think so.
We can call it the championship game, but it's not. You gotta actually get there. But yeah, if I'm Damon, I'm rooting for Mommy Chasers to take first place. But I think Mommy Chasers would take it, and I think wins it all if it ends right now.
Yeah, I think if we're looking at how the teams are right now, I've got Mommy Chasers coming out. I think that the real good, it'd be a great game either way. Mario versus Drake would be really fun to watch. I think Mario's got more firepower than Drake, but Drake's more consistent, if that makes any sense.
Yep, it does.
Mario. It seems like Mario's got the squad that's going to throw up 170 in a given week, but he might have to throw up that much to beat Drake, because Drake's probably going to score at least 130.
Yep, I think that's what it comes down to, is just that the ceiling. I think Mario's got the ceiling, but they've got to hit.
It'll be fun to watch. We'll definitely get into that more next week. Once we know exactly what the playoffs are going to shape out to be, we'll maybe throw out a couple of predictions on who the player of the playoffs is going to be, like an MVP for the playoffs. Like we give away an MVP to McCaffrey if he goes off these next, couple games. It's not this week, obviously. That'd be in the playoffs.
Yep.
Something fun, something for everybody, fun to watch. Maybe give away a koozie or something for the MVP.
That'd be cool.
I still have a koozie. Mario, I have not forgot about you. You're going to get a Colts koozie. The only way for me to get it personalized was to buy 12 koozies. First defense taken, and I wasn't.
Special guest. You got to head upstairs and do the dinner thing. So, gotta get off of here, man.
Yep.
It's been a long episode.
Yeah, it has. All right, dudes. Easy.
See you, man.